Now we'll talk about creating a static text field. If you're following along, I'm working in o2_creating_text.fla in the Chapter 9 folder in the Exercise Files folder. This file is just a blank document with Layer 1 renamed to text. So let's select the Text tool in the toolbar. In the Property Inspector, select Static Text from the Text Type dropdown. Next, we'll select a font. You can click the Font dropdown in the Property Inspector to choose from a list. I'm just going to choose Verdana. Choose a font size using the font size slider. I'm going to choose 36 for my font size. You can pick a font color using the Text Color color picker in the Property Inspector. I'm just going to pick a light blue. You can choose bold and/or italic. Paragraph alignment, I'm going to choose left. And let's create a text field. Click on the stage to create a text field. Type whatever text you'd like in the text field. I'm just going to type some text. When the cursor is flashing inside of a text field, you're in something called text editing mode. To get out of text editing mode, press the escape key on your keyboard. When you're out of text editing mode, a selected static text field has a blue rectangle and a handle on each corner. Let's talk about some other text options. With the text field still selected, in the Property Inspector, there's a button called Edit Format Options and has a paragraph icon on it. When you click the Format Options button, you'll see the Format Options window. Here you can control text indent, line spacing, left margin, or right margin. These work the same as word processing programs. For example, if you grab the indent slider and you drag it up, you can see the text on the stage indent. I'm going to choose 0 pixels for indent. The rest of the options work just like a word processing program, so I'm just going to click Done. In the Property Inspector, you can also change the letter spacing of a text field. And that's using the letter spacing slider near the center and the top of the Property Inspector. As I drag the slider up, there's more space between the letters, and as I drag the slider down, there's less space between the letters. I'm going to set that back to 0. The next drop-down menu allows you to choose the character position of your text. You can choose normal, superscript, or subscript. Again, this works much the same as any word processing program. So I'm just going to select normal. At the bottom right of the Property Inspector, you'll see a text field that says Auto Kern. Kerning in a text field refers to how letters are placed next to each other. With many fonts, letters are spaced differently depending on the letter. For an example, an O placed next to an S might have a little bit less space than an E placed next to an M. Checking the Auto Kern option allows Flash to control the letter spacing for you. Occasionally, you'll run into problems with the spacing of letters in your text fields. Whenever you run across those problems, you could check or uncheck the Auto Kern button. In the Property Inspector, there's also a button that allows you to make text selectable. It's in the center of the Property Inspector. It looks like a capital A next to a B that's selected. Click the selectable button to make the text selectable. Now that doesn't do anything when you're working in Flash, so you won't be able to see the effect until you test the movie. Let's test the movie and see what it looks like. Command Return on the Mac, Control Enter on the PC. If you click and drag across the text field, you can select the text. So you can use that button to set whether your text is selectable or not. So once you've created a text field, you can edit and modify the text using the Selection tool. So I'm going to choose the Selection tool in the toolbar. Then to modify text in a text field, you can double-click the text field to enter text editing mode. You can tell that you're in text editing mode because of the blinking cursor. So if I wanted to add to or modify this text, I could do that just like in any word processing program. Remember to exit text editing mode, press Escape on your keyboard. And there's a look at creating static text fields.